Hi, my name is Lindsay, and I'm a holistic therapist and mindset coach. And I've sort of become a life coach in a way, working with people with holistic therapy. Because there's one thing that I've noticed right away in working with my clients is that all the healing and all the, good food and good tips with nutrition and herbs and medicine and all these things, none of that really matters if you don't know where you're going in life. Um, you don't know what you want or what you're working towards. None of that really matters. And it's funny how we can go through so many years of living without being asked what we really want in life or being guided to make goals properly, set goals, achieve them. It really baffled me when I was in school. And year after year, we'd go through school and we'd learn some math and we'd learn some little bit of science, not a lot, and we'd learn a little bit of history and we'd learn all these things that it never really felt like it was preparing me for anything. It never really felt like I was learning anything supremely useful to make me money in the end. It always felt like year after year after year, it was just preparing me for more school. Like, you got to go to high school so that you got to go to elementary school so you can go to middle school. You got to go to middle school so you can make it to high school. You got to go to high school so you can make it to college. You got to make it through college to go to university. None of that really made sense to me. It always felt so long and drawn out and empty and pointless. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great schools out there that teach a lot of wonderful things, but uh, what I wouldn't have given to have more coaching with the direction of my life and for somebody to really truly ask me what I wanted and then not scoff at it when I say, I remember being young and wanting to be an artist, and I don't remember who it was that said, "Oh yeah, well, you'll be an artist, you'll be a starving artist because artists don't make any money. Usually all the money they make is after they're already dead, and then people decide their art is worth something and they start trading it." And I thought, you got to be kidding me, like that doesn't make any sense. But that stuck in my head, and yeah, it stopped me from pursuing my dream as an artist. And over and over, I'd come back to it, but it was one of those things that really kind of threw me off course in life. And so I think it's really important for people these days to have direction with what you actually really want, regardless of what anybody's ever told you, regardless of what you've been taught or not taught. You need to learn how to make a goal, have a dream, create this vision in your mind, create steps and action plans to get you there, and learn how to go for it. Become aligned with your purpose, become aligned with your dreams, your goals, your visions, what you want. Honestly, um, trying to follow the societal norms of what was expected of me drove me crazy. I mean, literally crazy. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder when I was in my early teen years. And this was after I had, been doing a lot of sports and then had an injury and then it ended. I kind of lost the things that I was really passionate about. I kind of gave them up like, oh, it's not really going to earn me money. It's not going to get me anywhere. I'm like, deep down in my heart, I really wanted to go to the Olympics. Like, really, really thought that would be so cool, or go to the Worlds and go to the Olympics. But people say that's really hard and it costs a lot of money, and all these other perceptions of other people's crap kept stopping me. I kept allowing it to stop me from doing what I wanted to do. So I find myself again deviating from the things that really were important to me and lit me up. And as I did that, everything in life became more and more pointless to me. That's how it felt anyway. Go to school, write exams, so I can what? Go to more school? I didn't want to go to more school. I wanted to do sports still. I wanted to do art more. I wanted to pursue more music. But then people always say, becoming a musician that makes money is really hard, and not everybody makes it. It probably won't make any money, and money, money, money. That's what everybody talks about. They're so quick to poo-poo your dreams because of how much money it won't make you right away. But nobody tells you how to take your dreams and turn them into money over time just by sticking with them and developing them to the absolute best of your ability. And that's really important. Staying with a vision that lights you up, no matter how long it takes you, is worth it. If you learn how to create proper steps and you learn how to follow through with them each and every single day, this is what keeps you on your path and keeps you going. And again, I deviated from all those things when I was young, and it left me lost, empty, directionless, mentally ill, really, really disappointed in the world, in myself, going from job to job, never really happy, never really satisfied, having anxiety, nervous breakdowns. I would go to a job and be really, really great at it for a while, and then I would just stop showing up because of massive depression spells and anxiety spells, and that was my life for about 20 years. For the last 6 years, no, about 10 years of that, I did find something that I really enjoyed, and that was roofing, surprisingly enough. I really enjoyed working outside roofing. But as I did that, I guess the universe had another plan for me, and I had a little whoopsie slip up when I was roofing, and I ended up falling, and I kind of crushed the right side of my body a bit. Ended up with a lot of nerve damage and nerve pain, but that's kind of a story for another time. I think I touched base on that before already. But in all of that happening, it has all led me to here. And I'm grateful for that, because all of that has added up to me learning how to heal bipolar disorder, heal chronic pain, neuropathy, neuralgia. It's all the things that I was told over and over, again, other people's perceptions. I was told over and over that they could not be helped and they could not be healed. And that was devastating, to be a young teenager and be told, you're mentally not well. And I knew that I wasn't feeling well. I felt like I was losing my marbles. And to be told that this is something that you might have to live with for the rest of your life, that's just like, and they're still telling people that, and that cheeses me off. And they use these diagnoses to just prescribe you drugs. And honestly, across the board, you can look at so many different disorders like schizophrenia, bipolar, just anxiety disorder, depression, clinical depression, however you want to word all these things. They all come from the same places of trauma, or really crazy bad diet, or just a conglomerate of life experiences adding up to like your personality morphing to fit this narrative of what's been happening in your life. And all these things kind of go on replay in your mind. And when we live through other people's perceptions and other people's guidance that is so way off base, we can end up on a path that is just so way off base for us. And that can feel like mental illness. And this is not something that can't be helped, and a lot of people talk about these things being genetic, but it doesn't matter what has been passed on, whether you've got a genetic illness or a genetic disposition or a personality trait or inherited trauma or inherited nutrient deficiencies. All of these things can be helped. They want you to think that they can't, but they can. I know they've been doing scientific research to try and prove that there's some gene to link bipolar and all these things to your genes so that they can sell people on the idea that it is something permanent. And I just want you to know that's complete bullshit. I had those symptoms for 20 years and I've been 100% fine. Better than I've ever been in my entire life for the past, almost 7 years now. Nearly 7 years of being better than I ever have been in my entire life. Not on medication. You can heal these things. Absolutely. And a lot of people don't like hearing that because, excuse me, when you live so many years of your life dealing with something like this and subscribing to the narrative that it is permanent, it can often become your personality. And that's scary. It becomes your identity. It's who you are. And to an extent, I kind of understand that because when you spend so much time looking after an illness, it's like, I kind of sometimes compare it to like a stray cat. It shows up, you don't, you're just like, okay, this doesn't belong here. I know it doesn't belong here. It's not mine. But once you name it, you feel like you got to take care of it. Once you start take care of it, then you end up feeding it. And once you feed it, you feel like you got to keep it. You don't realize that you can send it on its way. It'll find its way back to where it came from. You can help it find its family. It's a real deal. It's not you. It doesn't have to be you. So that's the thing with diagnosis. A lot of people think that once you get a diagnosis, you're like, oh, thank God, everything makes sense. That's why I'm ill. But that's not right. A diagnosis isn't why you don't feel good. A diagnosis is just a way of labeling a group of symptoms. Why you feel those symptoms is a whole other thing. Like I said, it could be exposure to toxins. It could be your past trauma. It could be inherited trauma. It could just be a big grouping of life experiences adding up to the effects of your personality, and your personality affecting your reality. And all of these things add up. For me, it was kind of everything. It was detaching from the societal expectation, or detaching from what I truly wanted and subscribing to societal demands broke my spirit. And that mixed with really poor diet and lifestyle choices in my later teens and early 20s just made it 1,000 times worse. And so I know have done a lot of work trying to detox a lot of toxins in my body and everything, but it's all those things, life experiences mixed with hopes and dreams crushed, mixed with all kinds of toxins, poor diet, poor lifestyle, and my mindset was not good. I had a very warped perception of reality because everything I thought to be true when I was a child just got crushed in my teen years. So, yeah, if this sounds familiar to you, just know that you absolutely positively can heal mental illness as you can chronic illness and I like to talk about these two things together because chronic illness, I'm seeing so many cases of chronic illness and chronic pain, but it is mentally, it has a mental condition. This is trauma-based illness. For me, I had a physical accident that caused the chronic pain and chronic illness, yes, but there's also the emotional causation for chronic illness. And this is pretty amazing because the treatment for this is so easy and so painless and so effective that it would actually blow your mind to experience this, of releasing emotional trauma that instantly releases emotion or physical pain. And I've experienced this too because after I had my accident and time was going on and I had started my practice, and I was actually doing another course to do with this very thing. And about a week into it, I started to experience some serious back pain. And my first thought was, oh no, my injuries, my fall injuries, it's back. Like, oh, how could this be? But the more I thought about it, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. I'm like, I heal this. This can't be that. Just because it's in the same spot, one of the same spots, doesn't mean that is it. So a week of this went by of me putting, some of my herbal balm on it, and it would get better. I would take my tinctures, it would get better, and I would go to bed at night, wake up the next day, do my thing, sit down at the computer, and a couple hours in, the pain would be back. Horrible back pain, right in the middle of my back. So this went on for about a week, almost 2 weeks, and luckily one of the processes that I was learning was to relieve the forced pressure that you feel in your body. And I didn't even realize it was related to an emotion, like a thought tied to emotion that was on my mind. And during this process, it brought that to light. And at the end of the process, it completely lifted the pain. It went away in that exact moment. It was incredible. It was one of those moments that brought me to tears. I couldn't believe it. It was just incredible. And it was in that moment that I realized what true holistic healing meant. Because when I finished my herbology courses and my nutrition courses and all the biology and biochemistry and anatomy and physiology and pathology and everything, I got to the very end and there was a big reading list of all the metaphysical stuff, all the extras. And it basically had a message saying, and now you begin your real training. It's like, this is all important stuff. This is all useful and very wonderful, but this is only one piece of the puzzle. All of this matters. So, yeah, I hope that makes sense to you. And if you're curious to learn more about this, just reach out, shoot me a message, or join me in my community, Mind and Body Rebuild. The link is in my profile, and I hope to meet you.